Well, thanks for staying in the conversation as we discuss this very important topic of faithfulness. Now, when we think of faithfulness as it relates to marriage, the first thing that comes to our mind is physical faithfulness. And that's probably a good thing. In this day and age where infidelity is rampant and porn addiction is rampant, it's important to have really good boundaries in the physical realm of the opposite sex. However, I want to take a much broader look at faithfulness in marriage. First, let's talk about spiritual faithfulness. In almost 40 years of counseling, I am truly amazed at the answers I get when I ask couples if they pray together regularly. Praying together is bringing your spouse back to the Father who gave you to each other. It's acknowledging that your marriage has 3 people in it, not just 2 like secular people think. We have access to the one who created us both, who has all the wisdom and all the counsel in the universe, and he is able to do way beyond our capabilities in so many ways. Why wouldn't you want to be in his presence together? This faithfulness is so important. I would say as a counselor, not praying together is a form of spiritual unfaithfulness and is something that can weaken your relationship. Now, Joni and I pray every day together and have, even in the dating process. I believe and behave that prayer is a form of faithfulness to God for giving me such an awesome wife. But it's also faithfulness to Joni to bring her to the Father. I think it helps women so much when they know the man in their life bows to the Father daily and ask him for wisdom as he goes about his life in the parenting process, in the grandparenting process, in the small and big decisions of life. Joni and I also read a chapter of the Bible and share what it gleans from both of us on a daily basis. This opens up all kinds of communications you can imagine, and sometimes even revelation as to what the Father is saying to us through his word. Whatever you do spiritually, and of course, being in a local church is important as well. But I'm talking not about your public faithfulness, but rather your private faithfulness spiritually before the Father. I do marriage conferences all over the world. And in these conferences, I'll ask couples to pray together. And so I would ask you to stop right now and take a moment and pray together. If your spouse is there, just grab them by the hand. Say, let's just pray while Dr. Weiss just keeps talking. I can't tell you how many couples in these seminars and conferences, this was the first time they prayed out loud together, and they've been married for years or decades, other than, just Father bless this food kind of stuff. When couples come to counseling, I also recommend that they pray together daily to become spiritually faithful towards each other and faithful to the Father. So you're getting this advice absolutely free. This is something Joni and I enjoy doing together. We love praying together. We love the Father in our marriage, at home when nobody sees us. We're not on TV. We're not in front of a camera. We're on the sofa just saying, Father, and we open our hearts to him. It's beautiful. Now let's move to emotional faithfulness. Here, of course, sharing a bunch of emotions with the opposite sex is really unwise. Okay, if you're sharing your feelings with people outside your marriage, that's unfaithfulness. Okay. Now you could be possibly grooming that person for an emotional or physical relationship. And when we're getting our emotional needs met by someone of the opposite sex outside our marriage, that is not emotional faithfulness with your spouse. However, I want to talk to you about what it means to be faithful emotionally toward your spouse. And I know this gets tricky because very few of us have great emotional skills. For that, I would refer you to my book, Emotional Fitness. However, we can all learn to share our emotions with our spouse. That takes 2 skills, being able to identify and share your feelings, and being a safe person who doesn't use it against them. Again, this is something I have taught clients and have done in marriage conferences, and we're talking about Marriage Mondays. I walk through this on that. It's also something me and Joni have done in our entire marriage every day. Each day we share 2 feelings from the day. Now, when you do this with your spouse, there's a couple rules. Firstly, and very importantly, never an example about each other when you're talking about your feelings when you do this. Okay, even if it's positive feelings, keep the examples away from your spouse. So examples are outside the marriage. Okay, so you would not say, I felt this when you did that. No, you don't do that. That's attacking. Okay, Secondly, maintain eye contact, look into each other's eyes. And for some couples, really, that's a challenge for them to look into each other's eyes. And thirdly, you do not give each other feedback or ask a bunch of questions. You just listen to them share their feelings. This allows both of you to be safe while you're sharing your feelings. And if you have questions about what they shared, wait 72 hours and then come back and talk about it. So the feeling exercise needs to feel safe. Doing this kind of sharing is emotional faithfulness towards your spouse. Here's my heart today. And it improves your skills so that you can talk about your feelings about so many things that are going on in your lives together.
For more content and resources to help in your healing journey with Christ, make sure to follow Dr. Doug Weiss on Facebook and Instagram. If you'd like to share full episodes of this show with friends and family, subscribe to Healing Time Ministries on YouTube, and feel free to leave us a comment on any of Dr. Doug's social media platforms. Our team would love to hear your feedback and learn how Healing Time is impacting your life, your church, and your ministry.